Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talking with Teachers. Today we have our science teacher, Mr. Bowker. So, Mr. Bowker, how long have you been working at the school?
3 years now.
3 years. Wow, that's the same as Miss Bora. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, what do you want to know? To do with teaching or?
Teaching, anything? How'd you get here? It's-
Okay, so I started off teaching mainly within year 7 to 9
Mhm.
when I arrived, and a little bit of year 10. In fact, I was teaching you back then
Yes.
in year 10, and then I started teaching a little bit more up the school now. So I teach GCSE physics at the moment, and I'll be teaching IB physics next year.
Oh, great.
So, how do I get to school? I drive mostly. I do have cycled sometimes. I'm a little bit too far away to cycle every day, but yes. So I'd like to do that a little bit more.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I mean, obviously, the goal of the school is to be as ethical as possible, being as environmentally friendly as possible. So, biking is something you really should strive to
I'm
do.
moving closer to the
Yeah,
school,
yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
hoping that will tip the
Okay,
balance.
that's good to know. Good to know. So, why exactly did you decide to join Equinox? What made it the best contender for you?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's got an excellent reputation. So knowing that it's a fantastic school, it's an international school, it's got a very interesting mix of people.
Mhm.
Students come from all backgrounds and families, and for me, that's interesting in itself.
Mhm.
To be a bilingual school is interesting. French is something that I've been trying to improve since I've lived in France,
Mhm.
and wanting to be in a school that allowed me to use my anglophone teaching, but
Mhm.
also gave me the opportunity to speak in French and use my French.
Mhm. So since you've been teaching here for 3 years now, what year have you most enjoyed teaching?
Sorry, which year group
Yeah,
or
what year group?
which of
Yeah.
the 3 years did I most enjoy?
Well, how about yeah? Which of the 3 years did you most enjoy teaching? Because obviously you had a lot of different classes every year. So
Yeah, well, every class is different,
yes.
and what you find certainly the difference between year 7 and teaching year 11.
Mhm.
People mature and change so much that it's a completely different experience. So I
Yeah.
enjoy teaching all year groups. I couldn't really say which year I particularly enjoyed the most. I
Mhm.
think I'm a physics specialist,
Mhm.
so I enjoy teaching physics, and I get a chance to do that a little bit more maybe with the older year groups. Because I
Yeah.
teach biology and
Yeah.
chemistry
Yeah.
as well in year 7, 8,
Ah, so
and
all
9.
three. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you first arrived at the school, can you recall your first impressions? What really flabbergasted you? Let's say.
What flabbergasted me?
Just
Well,
surprised. Yeah.
well, you know what? This building we're next to now
Mhm.
is quite a beautiful old building, and it's
Mhm.
lovely to have that historic sort of
Yeah.
feel
Yeah,
to the
it has been
campus.
here for 100 years, I think. It was built in 1920 or 1919.
Well, that's right. So to have
Yeah.
such history,
Yeah.
I like that. But also, then the science block, as you know, is a much more modern
Yeah, that's
building
true.
with
Yeah,
brand new
that.
science labs and
Mhm.
things over the last few years. So we've got a lovely library and that sort of
Mhm.
thing. So I love the link between the old and the historic
Yeah.
and the modern facilities. So that
Yeah.
was one thing that really pulled me in. I love the AstroTurf up the
Mhm.
top, well, or
Yeah.
the all-weather pitch.
Yeah.
That's a great facility as
Yeah.
well, and I like that watching the football.
Yeah. Do you
And
participate in teachers football every Friday?
not every Friday. I
Okay.
have played in teachers
Okay.
football, but I
Yeah.
must say this year I've been a bit slack. Partly
Why?
because it was with masks for a long time,
Yeah.
and partly because my fitness has not really been up to competitive
Really?
sport
Oh.
with you guys. So I find it
Oh
difficult
no.
to keep up. But next year I'll be back in there. Back
Okay.
in there.
I'll be sure to join you there. What position do you play?
Normally defence, right
Okay.
back.
So you're just like me on the wing. Well, on the wings, yeah.
Yeah.
Right back is quite a fun position to play, especially the through balls and everything.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so, what is your teaching philosophy, if you have any? For example, what is like one thing you strive in giving to your students as a teacher?
Okay, to sum up my entire teaching philosophy in one answer is always going to be tricky, but I think what we're looking for in science is to
Mhm.
try and, first of all, allow students to enjoy science. So some
Mhm.
students are naturally gifted and they can pick up the mathematical principles, the physical, the chemical, and the biological principles very quickly. Other people find that difficult, and so our first thing really is trying to engage everyone to see that science is interesting. Whether you feel good at science or not so good at science, it's an interesting thing to investigate. So I think that's probably a foundational idea.
Do you feel that the courses for IGCSE and IB offer good help for those who are not as gifted in science?
Well, we run a whole host of courses. So we run the combined science course, which has support. So if people have found science difficult in years 7 to 9 or struggle with aspects of it, this is a good route for them. The co-science course is obviously takes up a little bit more of the timetable because a rounded scientific background, and so a lot of students take that one. And we've also got the opportunity to do triple science as well. And so people who want to go on to do science at degree level and go on to university science, this is the perfect thing for them. So we sort of try and cater for all different abilities as we come through the course. Cambridge is a difficult IGCSE, and I think whichever course you do, it's challenging, but therefore gives you a good foundation into IB, which is always going to be an academically challenging qualification to do. But again, even at IB, we've got courses for everyone, from ESS to Nature of Science through to SL Bio, SL Physics, SL Chem, and all the HL subjects as well. So I feel we've got a good range of subjects that we offer.
Take Nature of Science because I wasn't the most academically gifted in science, and I found that Nature of Science is quite eye-opening in a way, because you find yourself constantly asking questions when it comes to evidence, because you always see loads of claims online, especially in the new age of fake information being spread, fake news, etc., etc. It always makes you think, like, where are they getting these sources from? Why? Well, just the why. Why is this true, for example?
Well, first of all, I must say you've got to be careful with the word "I'm not very academically gifted at science," because a lot of students look at themselves and they say, "I'm good at this" or "I'm not so good at that," and actually, there's different subjects for everyone, and Nature of Science is something that anyone could take and benefit from. But I get your point that if you want to take an SL Science course and you want something that's applicable to life and it's going to help you interpret evidence, maybe look at the news and the data being thrown at us every day. It's a course which equips you for the world that we live in. And every single IB course that we run and the IB run, every science course, involves Nature of Science as a section of it.
I've heard that from other students.
There's Nature of Science within physics and bio and chem and ESS, but the Nature of Science course in itself really focuses on these skills which can take you right across all aspects of life. And in the coronavirus age, it's important to be critical of the evidence that we're being presented with and able to make sense of this evidence so that we can make choices and decisions ourselves.
Very good answer, I must admit. It's, again, quite eye-opening. So, just for our last question, so yearly, sadly this year we weren't able to do it, but year 13s tend to do graduation day where they do pranks on, teachers or just the school entirely. So in your 3 years here, what is, let's say, your favorite prank from the students that you've witnessed?
Oh, that's a tricky one, because as you say, things haven't been, I haven't really experienced many pranks. I know that the celebration day a couple of years ago, there was a big bouncy castle outside, a lot of water fighting going on, which is always fun. So it's good to see that going on. But I don't think I've been at the receiving end of any particular pranks.
So you got off lucky.
Yeah, I think I've got off lucky in my time here.
Maybe that luck will change once I'm graduating.
I must admit, I feel like I'm dropping myself in it, but yeah.
All right, well, we'll have to see for next year then. All right, well, thank you again, Mr. Bowker. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this time, and this is our last episode, so thank you very much for watching. See ya.